It's time for the big conversations, telling stories of movers and shakers, of industry giants and daring professionals. It's time for the conversations that change your perspective on life. The kind of conversations that shape entrepreneurs and move careers forward. If you don't know where these conversations are found, we are sending you a GPS. But if you're listening to this voice right now, you are here. Welcome to the Growth Podcast. This is the GPS.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Growth Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us this week on the podcast. This week is special for us because we won an award, guys. We won the Best Zikomo Content Podcast of the Year last weekend. So you guys, it's working. Whatever we're doing is working. And we thank you very much for your support to every person that voted. I feel like this is the right motivation that we needed. So this award is dedicated to you. I feel like I have to give a speech because I wasn't actually there when we won the award. I was somewhere else winning another award. But this one is for the podcast, and we're grateful for the support that you've given to us. So you'll be seeing a lot of this today. Just a reminder why it's standing here. So the podcast really is about interesting conversations, and we're having one such conversation this week. There's a man I met at the awards over the weekend, and I was like, yeah, come through, on the podcast. He is an entrepreneur, never worked a day in his life. By worked a day in his life, I mean as an employee, obviously, you can't survive in this economy. You never worked. Yeah, so he is pushing his own thing. He's an entrepreneur. His name is Emmanuel. Emmanuel, welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you. Yeah, so he's an entrepreneur. He has his own paint business. But before I get into the nitty-gritties, I've got cards here. So we always play this game where we have these cards. I want you to pick any three cards. Don't look at what's written on the card. Just pick any three cards. And then ask the question and answer it.
Okay. Ish. I love gray. Yeah, my color is gray. So let me see. Okay. Ish. Let's focus. Ish. Okay. What do people say you can't do that you were sure you could if you really tried? I think this tells a lot about my story, the entrepreneurship journey that I'm into. There was a time I was having a conversation with this guy from SA. So I tried to tell him this is what I really want to do. And he was like, don't even try that because I think you won't manage. I'm a believer that you wouldn't know if you could achieve something not until you try it out. So here I am. I tried out something and it's working out for me. So so it's all perfect.
Okay, let's go to the second one.
Okay. I'm going to go for the gray one again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What's your goal? What's your go-to strategy for achieving your goals? I think my go-to strategy for achieving my goals is to just remain focused. Yeah, put that, that dream, that perspective into play and always think about it and making sure that it could come out the way you would want it to be. I think it's about keeping on, thinking about how best you could make it more better. Yeah. Okay. It's not losing the touch on it, obviously.
The grey cards have run out. Let's see which one you pick.
Okay, I'll pick a yellow now. Pick a yellow. Okay, I hope this is my last one.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Describe life lessons that you took more than once to learn. Why did I take more than once to learn? Okay. I think I'm learning so many things, Like every day for me, I think it's a lesson. Meeting new people is a lesson. But I think knowing how to bring out better conversations with different types of personalities, I think it's something that that took me more than one time, to learn. I think I'm just learning on this curve. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So, let's get to know you a bit.
Okay.
Who would you say Emmanuel Machwani is?
Emmanuel Machwani is a young Zambian guy who's determined anyway to achieve whatever comes in his way, especially based on what I do currently. I was born and bred right here in Lusaka. Yeah, grew up in Emmanuel partly, and I lost my parents when I was quite young, and had my life again in Garden where I grew up, and life without parents is quite a difficult one, but life happens. So I'm basically just a humble guy from a humble background who's just trying to make it in this world. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how did you went to university, studied, or you grade 12?
Oh yeah. So I did my grade 12 at a boarding school in Solwezi.
Okay.
Yeah, from grade 8 to grade 12. Finished at school, came back, didn't have anybody to take me to college, in as much as I was passionate about, getting to college. So I had to hustle around. I was in the street, hustling, but my aim was to eventually get into college, and I wanted to do business administration. So I saved a little bit of some money from my hustling in the streets. I took myself to Evelyn Horn. I started doing business administration under the executive of Association of Business Executives. ABE, exactly, yeah. And I dropped out, because of financial issues. I was in the streets again, tried to hustle just like that. I went again, did some part-time at UNZA. Again, I didn't finish, and I dropped out and said, okay, I got the nitty-gritties of really what I wanted to do in terms of business. So here I am. And
so what you're saying is, from the time you were at Evelyn Horn and then you dropped out, and then at UNZA you dropped out, you figured, wait, I think I've learned enough to understand what this whole business administration is about.
Yeah, because really I had a passion for business. Just from school, I had a passion for business, but I wanted to understand exactly what does it take for one to run a business? What is it that is needed for one to run a progressive business? And I thought at that particular point, after I dropped out from UNZA, I said, okay, I actually got in everything that I needed. I got the communication side of the business. I got the account side of the business. I got the management side of the business. Okay, what else do I need? So anyway, the rest is history.
The rest really is history. You drop out, and then what?
Yeah, so I dropped out, and I still, I was still on the streets again, trying to hustle around the same particular type of business that I was doing. So on the streets, I was a commodity broker, a paint commodity broker. I learned this from a certain friend of mine, but I wanted to expand because that's the first business that I got in touch with. Coming from the business administration type of, thinking and school, and I really wanted to know exactly which type of business can I do. But having the paint business closer to me, because that's what I was doing at that time with a friend. So I said, okay, let me get hold of this and let me actually come up with the best way of doing it, different from what everybody else is doing. I drew some passion out of that. And
I want to ask, the broker part, what exactly was involved in that business?
So on the broker part is, because I never had the actual paints myself. So, if somebody wants paints, I had where to get the paints. So I was like some sort of a middleman between the two, the seller and actually the buyer.
So people who want to buy paint go and buy paint through other people?
Yeah, they do actually. Just
the one paint, I know where the paint shop is. I just go and buy.
Oh yeah. I think it was quite different way back. What we have is that most people have they just know that there's paint and I can buy white, I can buy gloss, but there's so much around the paint. The paint industry in itself. But if you want the professional now, a conversation around it to know exactly which one are you supposed to get and which one actually comes out based on what you're looking forward for, is now that type of conversation that you need to get from now a professional who knows and understands paints very well.
Which is who you were.
Yeah, that's who I was. Yeah, that's who I was.
And for how long were you a broker for paint?
Actually, so many years. I think for more than 9 years.
For more than 9 years?
For more than 9 years, yeah. So through that I learned quite a lot. The first thing that I capitalized on was the capital of honesty and trust. I think each and every business person deserves, that type of, particular, ingredient in their lifetime as a business person. Yeah, I think people are always looking forward for people that are honest, that are trustworthy, and through that, I think people can show other people like, yeah, this is a go-to guy who can actually give you what you are looking forward for. Sometimes people would actually come to me instead of going to where the paints are, like what you were suggesting, like what would be the different thing from me going to just the actual, retailer of the paints instead of going to you. So, that was a different story in time, but here we are. And through that, I learned quite a lot. Interacting with the customers, understanding exactly what they're looking for. And I took that time also to research a lot during that period. It's quite a long time. I took time, researched, understood what paint is, and interacted with a lot of people in the paint industry. Yeah, so I learned quite a lot through that journey.
Okay, that is quite interesting. And where did the interest come from for you to find yourself in paint? Like, how did you even, find yourself there?
So I've got a brother who had a hardware store. And in that hardware store, paint was part of the component that she was actually selling. Yeah. So I actually draw some interest from it because I remember that time people could just get spoons, a bit of some colorants and make some colors. And I looked at it and said, this is beautiful art. And out of it, I think so many great things can come out of it because I started learning now what type of paint this is. What can it do on the wall? What type of finish does it have? And where do you apply it? I mean, all those things are the most important things that people don't really understand when it comes to paint. But the inspiration of trying to understand them, I got that passion and I became great at it.
How did you find your first client?
My first client, I can't even remember. I had so many people coming through because I mean, people. I mean, the setup of town, especially the streets, when that Millennium Road, there are a lot of hardwares going towards town center. Yeah, and every time you have somebody passing through that road.
Were you one of those guys who someone's passing? Oh,
yeah. I used to do that. I used to do that because I used to do that because we actually go there. We actually used to go there to look for clients and to understand exactly what they are looking for. Because not every client actually, I mean, I think it happens I've been to Dubai, I've seen people actually waiting for other people and then they're looking for something and they say, what are you looking for? Because they know exactly where to get that particular thing. And they've got that negotiating skill to actually talk to the owner.
So the name for those people is a broker?
It's a broker. It's definitely a broker. Yeah, it is a broker. But I mean, each and every person has got his own ways.
What broker is it?
A commodity broker.
No, there's a fancy word used earlier. Paint something broker.
Paint broker. Yeah, paint commodity broker.
Paint commodity broker.
Yeah. So that's a broker who's specially
in an office.
Yeah, it makes. Yeah. The streets are offices anyway. For many people, with so many great dreams, and they're trying just to find their niche and their stronghold and how best they could actually explore their thoughts and goals and dreams as well. Yeah.
So your job was someone is walking in the street. We're looking for paint. Yeah. What paint do you want? What are you painting? Let's go to the shop.
And you have that honest conversation with the client.
At what point do they pay you?
Yeah, no. For me, being a broker is obviously I get something as a commission from the actually retailer, the owner of the product.
The owner of the product. So the customer doesn't pay you anything.
So we have, the owner.
There were some shops where you would direct someone. Do
you know that so many businesses are actually struggling? There's so many people that are doing commission-based type of businesses right now in the country, and I mean that is part of it. I mean it's been there for a long time. Yeah. So if I see somebody who's so good in this product understanding and they can actually market our products, and I'll give them some sort of a deal to say, okay, if you go out there, find me a client who's looking for this particular type of things that I'm selling, and I'll give you 10% on that. That's a great deal, So that's a real great deal. Yeah. So I think so many people, can get such type of an incentive just by understanding and knowing. You don't have to have the goods for you to actually be a businessman or entrepreneur. But what you need to just be is just to understand the products so that now you can articulate the issues that you are selling to the clients and the customers.
The thing I like about what you're saying is I feel like it knocks out the whole excuse most people have about capital.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, because I don't think that business is capital, right?
It does.
Do you need capital for that?
No, you don't need capital. But the best capital that I talked about earlier is the honesty and trust. That's the first capital that you need because you have so many people recommending you to other people that if you're looking for such a thing, reach out to this particular guy. And that's the first capital that one needs in business, trust and honesty.
Okay, I had to write that down. That's good. So, how then do you transition to your own business?
Okay, so at that particular time, I knew that now this is a time where I need now to have a place where, a permanent place where at least I could be found, a place where I could rent. So I started looking for a smaller store, which I luckily found that time, and started getting a bit of these products, having them in store, so that you could gain more trust, obviously, for customers that are looking for those particular. Even if I was still a commodity broker, having a bit of some paints in the store, I can still actually, if I don't have them, I can still go to those partners that I had partnered with to say, okay, I need these, and I have a customer in my store, and I can still sell those products. And from there, I think growth started coming through.
So you basically then became somewhat a competitor to the ones that you were, brokering for?
Yes, not in the sense that they knew, obviously.
Also, they didn't know.
Yeah. So, but to my own understanding is that I really needed, to grow this business. I need to have a place where I have a permanent, address where people would find me and actually deal with me, maybe directly, and have those products. Yeah. So, as time goes by, I started reaching out now to the actual manufacturers of these products, having a conversation with them, being in the industry for a long time, you have that, obviously common, conversation, and they really, I think, saw something in me and said, okay, this guy can take it out and he can do great out of this business. So
what year do you then open your own store?
Yeah, so the small one is somewhere around 2015, somewhere there.
2015.
Yeah, 2015, somewhere there. Then I struggled in that small, but my dream kept on burning inside me. My dream, from inception, when I talk about how I wanted my business to be, was not only to remain in the streets, was not only to remain with a smaller store, was to make sure that now I could change the narrative from being an informal, business person into a formal or a big corporation one day that will employ a lot of people, that people would look up to say, okay, that's a Zambian, entrepreneur, or that's a Zambian company that has grown from nothing to something. So that's been the dream. And I think we're on the right trajectory.
Okay. You mentioned the struggles earlier. What were the struggles like?
The struggles were deep. Just like I mentioned to you, like I'm coming from a very, very, humble background. I had my difficulties, challenges growing up. I never had my parents. I lost them when I was quite young. I think I lost my dad when I was after my 10th birthday. I lost my mom, I think, when I was somewhere around 13 years, and things change instantly. When you have parents, you don't have those, necessities that you usually used to have when parents are around. And obviously so many things change, schools change, I remember at a certain point, even after school, being in the streets, I became homeless at a certain point of life, but I feel like, any obstacle that comes into any person's life, it doesn't mean that life has ended. For me, I looked at it like something that tomorrow is going to be different. If I sleep in a ditch, no one would know that I'd slept in a ditch, because I'll show my smile, I'll show my face, I'll show myself worthy, to the next day. So that didn't stick on me. So even today, when I tell a lot of people about my story, they're like, wow, did you go through all those things, So it becomes surprising to understand. I know that so many people in businesses or entrepreneurs or just in their social lifestyles, people come from so many different situations. It's only that they've never gotten a chance to speak about them. Yeah, but once anyway, just like my life is today, I meet so many people that come up to me to say, you truly are an inspiration, because they really understand exactly where I'm coming from. They understand the things, partly obviously, that I went through as a person. And to be in this space, having a conversation with you, somebody out there is looking at it like, oh, wow, so this is what life can do. So it doesn't tell a story that if you're not learned, if you don't have a degree, you don't have what, then you're a useless human being. No. What matters is what you hold in your mind. I think that's the biggest asset that I have, is how I think, how I look at things, how I perceive things. I think that's the most important thing. So it's about positivity, thinking ahead, not looking at where you are, but looking at how best you can be. I know there's so many people who go through situations and thinking that they can't be that because, they're emotionally demoralized, They're thinking that this is not for me, this is for other people. But tell you the truth, if God said that we're all created in His image, then we're just the same people. Yeah, it's only that people find different opportunities. Some have parents, some don't have. Yeah, but it doesn't tell a story, because at the end of the day, everyone is going to die. No one is going to live at the end of the day when that time comes. So what I'm actually saying is that just like any other person can go through a situation, they can still come out of it. They can still be great people.
Yeah, and so the other thing I wanted to find out is, now that you start your store, talk to me about the growth of your business.
Oh yeah. So this store now is started, and strides are actually getting to to our sides. I remember there was a time I reached out to a certain lady. I convinced her to say, listen, you should come and work with me. Remember that my mind was about growth. That's something that has never gotten away from me, growth. All my life as a business person, I've always looked at an opportunity of growth in every situation of my life. So I knew that a business couldn't thrive on a single entity type of situation where one person does everything. You need people around you. Yeah, you need people around you. So I had to convince this lady, and she came on board. And we started working together. We did so many beautiful things with her, and the business was actually thriving, in a smaller way. Yeah, and so I remember now just speeding up the process. 2016. Because of my interaction spirit that I have with the world in terms of what I actually do. Networking for me is one of the best tools that I've used to thrive and, survive in this business. I actually interact with about more than 100 people around the world in the same particular business that I do. So I had a chance, to go to Dubai in 2016 for the first time. Breaking all the boundaries of who you are as a person, that maybe you can't do whatever you can. So anybody can do it, can become. So I went to Dubai to see one of the biggest companies in Dubai called River Paints. I was there for about 10 days, experienced the Dubai life. I experienced the factory type and what they're doing in the paint industry, what types of products they're having, and what I learned quite a lot. Initially, that trip was about me becoming the, distributor here in Zambia. Unfortunately, it didn't take off because I didn't have the monies to pursue that journey of the business, because the cost of importing goods from that faraway country into our country, into Zambia, was actually a bigger imaginable type of figure. Yeah. So, I remained in contact with these people. I interacted with them. LinkedIn has been part of a platform that I've used also to interact with the world. Yeah. So, 2019, that's when Prime Paints was set up. So Prime Paints was born in 2019, October. Yeah, and that's when now we got the biggest store along Chachacha Road. Yeah. Remember, I was talking about growth, and that has never come out of my mind. So we got a bigger store, and now the reason why, way back I was trading under Prime Hardware and Electrical. But that, again, didn't give me, the actual feeling that I wanted to get out of the business that I do. I knew that I'm more, specific when it comes to the type of hardware that I'm doing, and that's paints. Yeah, so I wanted to have, a name that will resonate much with exactly what I'm doing, and that's paints. So that's the reason why I had to change from Prime Hardware and Electrical to Prime Paints Zambia Limited, and that's when Prime Paints was born. So Prime Paints was born, obviously with the same type of mindset of growth, because I knew that
with the same lady.
Yes, with the same lady, with the mindset of understanding that I really wanted that name to one day become a product. Yeah, so that's where we started. But again, we questioned ourselves and say, okay, where we are today, what are we going to engage ourselves for us to give our customers, our clientele, the best service? Not only that, but again, the greatest products, because now we're trying to preserve a name, in the industry. So we associated ourselves with big companies in the paint industry here in the country, and those are the qualities that we're selling. And through that, our name gained momentum. It gained, it was well known on the paint industry. We were competing fairly, yeah, but we had some setbacks because the competition sometimes becomes ugly. Yeah, it becomes ugly. So that lady, now finally we had a lot of people now coming on board. We had workers here, sales guys and the like, and the company was doing okay, but we had a bit of some setback along the way. We had all these big, one of the biggest company that were making like 75% about who we were in terms of profit had actually pulled out, and that felt like it's an end for us. Then so I was looking for a way and how we're going to survive. I had to make a plan. I had to find ways. So I understood one thing through that challenge that we had, that for as long as it's not your product, you don't have power over anything. For as long as it's not your product, you don't have power over anything. So I learned that this is a time now when we need to now start creating our own things, start making our own things, so that at the end of the day, you could have power. You could do anything to that product, So we had a setback, in 2021. Then I think it was a wake-up call again to revisit the initial dream and plan for Prime Pens, which was now the manufacturing, industry for the pens. So now that's how we again started. But again, before we could go to that point, we started looking outside because we felt like we were unfairly treated in our country. Yeah, so we started looking out there and say, okay, who can we partner with outside there? Now we've got the markets, we've got the clientele. So who can we partner with what we have currently? So we got in touch with one of the third largest company in SA called Promac, and Promac is actually the manufacturers of the well-known brand here in Zambia that Builders Warehouse sells, which is the Fad Earth. Yeah, so we got in touch. We partnered now, and so we launched Promac products in last year in August. Yeah, it was quite a big launch, and we had representation from the EIZ, we had representation from the Zambia Institute of Architects, representation from the Ministry of SME itself, representation also from the Ministry of Infrastructure. So for us, and the media actually was there. It was quite a good, something like a new beginning for us. And from there, our journey has been amazing. So here we are today.
You mentioned that the competition was ugly.
Yeah.
What exactly happened for you to label it ugly?
Competition. There's unhealthy type of competition that happens in these industries. Yeah, I remember one of my friends actually called it like it sounds like a mafia type of businesses that happens. Yeah, that. I know that I'm an ambitious and passionate person when it comes to what I do. So, to some people, it never actually, sat with them well. And they felt like it was a threat having somebody, because we started expanding extensively. Yeah, because, our core, initial, program was to grow. And our growth wasn't so good for other people. And we started growing towards the biggest guys. And the biggest guys thought this is not good for them for business. It's a free economy, yes. It's a free market, yes. But there are those people who feel it's not right. Imagine for us to cross borders, to actually go and get a different partner for us to just survive in the industry. It tells a bigger story. So it's something that is not good. But again, in all these challenges, just like the way I've grown up as a person, I find challenges to be stepping stone to the new venture, to a new program, to a new understanding of how you can do things in a better way. So for us, yes, we brought in Promac as our partner, and so right now we are exclusive distributors and retailers of Promac paints in our all stores.
Okay, how many stores do you have now?
We currently have 5 stores.
There are 5 stores.
5 stores. We've got 2
How
in
did
town.
you get there?
Yeah, the same spirit of growth, obviously. Yeah, the same spirit of growth. I've never rested from the time Prime Paints was, brought on board, and it's been pushing and pushing and pushing. I feel like I haven't realized anything out of it, but I feel like there's something that's seated in front of it that is so big, and I'm yet to get there.
Wait, you mean with these 6 stores and this level of growth that you're describing, you haven't realized something out of it?
I think what I've noticed is that so many businesses, especially, young guys in businesses, they would take a business a year and you start milking, or lack of a better term, getting the best out of it. But I feel like we need to reinvest. A business, if you've got a business that you really want to have it and stand the test of time, you really need to give it back more than you get out of it. So I've been giving it more than I've been giving it more. Yeah, I know. My wife tells me sometimes that sometimes I feel like you're married to Prime Pens, because it takes away my time, because I need to give it what it deserves for it to get to that part where it has grown so much.
What lessons have you learned running that business?
Lessons that I've learned running that business is that you don't need to go on a break in terms of what the dream is, of what you need to achieve. If the dream is bigger, and especially when you're competing in these industries of whatever type of business that you're doing, you don't look at the smaller guys. You look at the bigger guys. You look at the smaller guys, you remain like the smaller guys. When you look at the bigger guys, in as much as people would see that you can't reach there, because your goal is there, your mind is there, your mind is set towards that, then definitely you're gonna reach there.
You sound like a guy that at some point almost quit.
Yeah, like, yeah. I was having a conversation today with a friend. I was just telling him to know, like, in my life, in the way I've run my business, in so many times I've just sat down to say, I'm gonna quit this, because it drains you sometimes. It takes away part of you, it makes you like you need to work for it instead of you, like the company working for you. Yeah, in as much as you can have employees, but employees will do as much as they can. You have an accountant. The accountant will do the account's job. You have a marketing department. The marketing department will do the marketing in itself. But be the owner of the business, and a small business for that matter, there's a lot that you need to do. You actually are the person who's supposed to be in the mud. The other person is supposed to run up and down to make sure that all these departments that you're setting up for growth, they're actually getting the best of it all. And now that's growth.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You may be tempted not to answer it, but I'll be happy if you answered it.
Okay.
If you were to sell your business today, how much would you sell it?
No, I wouldn't sell it. I wouldn't sell it.
I said if.
If I had to sell it.
How much? Maybe
so,
let's say said it.
Excuse me. So
what do you think? What do you think? What do you think is the value of your business?
The value of my business.
If you had to value it.
I've never valued it. So I had a scenario where a certain friend of mine, came through and said, you know what? I've got a bit of some money that I would love to invest into your business. So he mentioned this amount to say, because I think the value of a business is not what the business has. It's the dream behind the business in itself. How big is it, and where do you see it? If you believe so much in it, I tell you the truth, the value of anything. I don't know. And right now, if you tell me, I need a lot of $1 million for it. Yeah.
Is that big?
Yeah. It's not big when you see it. It's big based on how I see it, based on how I believe in it.
So you're saying it's big not based on what it is at the moment, but it's big based on what it can become.
So let me tell you a scenario about where we are as Prime Paints. So currently, let me just take you a little bit back. So when Prime Paints was established in 2019, it was a retail store, but the whole essence for its establishment was to become a product. So, but we didn't go that way. We went the retail way, getting products that are already on the market, retailing them. But what were we getting out of that? The name, the Prime Paints name. What were we getting out of it is that Prime Paints sells quality, durable products, right? But now it has taken us 4 years to reach to where we are. And today, I'm delighted to say that dream, the initial dream that we actually began, is actually materializing. So right now, not only that we have those 5 stores, we have a manufacturing plant being set up currently.
And when do you intend to launch the manufacturing plant?
Yeah, I think by the end of this year, we should be fully set up. January, we're up and running.
You're saying by the end of this year, like we're in February.
Yeah,
So by next month.
Because what we've done so far is that we've done about 85% of the works.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so when you talk about a factory, I know it's not something that is smaller, but 2021, when we discovered that we don't have the power over the products that we sell because they're not ours, right? Yes. So that gave us an opportunity now to start investing into machinery. Yeah, to say, okay, our dream need to come back to life, what we do, but we need machinery for us to actualize that. And we started actually buying machinery from that time. And we've been doing that. And right now, setup is almost there.
The question most people will ask is, how does a guy that drops out of, college uni twice manage to go on and set up a successful business?
Hey.
And I'm asking that because if you've seen in the past, the trend has been, no, Steve Jobs didn't shine, Mark Zuckerberg dropped out. Your example also dropped out. Did you think that now young people should sit down and say, for my business to succeed, I have to drop out? Otherwise, if I don't drop out.
No. Now, I've got kids, and I make sure that I tell them that school is the best option that you have in life. And I believe school is the equalizer. I believe so very, very much. Look at me. Today, I'm able to employ people, but I can't just employ any other person. I need to employ somebody who's learned, who's educated, based on what I would want to get out of them. Yeah, because I can't just go in the street to say, okay, I want you to come and work for me. What am I going to get out of that? Because if I'm looking for an accountant, I need somebody who's learned, who understands exactly what it needs to be done. Because if I don't get that guy, I have issues maybe with, authorities, or just failure also to just do what I need to do in my own business. Yeah. So school is one important thing. I mean, there are some people. I believe that the education system should have components on how best they could, mentor kids in becoming entrepreneurs right now. Yeah, because I think we're living in a country or in the world that is now fully dependent on entrepreneurship. Why do I say this? I know the government is the biggest employer right now, but the government is not able to take up every person into employment. What's happening to the people that are seated in the streets, and if you look at the situation that we have in our country right now, a lot of people are graduating every day. We're seeing a lot of people graduating, but where are they going? Who's employing those people? But if we have people that are committed, in the industry of entrepreneurship, these are the people, especially that we need the government to make sure that they could profile these entrepreneurs, these businesses that are actually surviving and thriving, to make sure that they could, harness, a type of situation that they could now start employing a lot of these people that are there. I think that's the way to go. So I believe that education is an equalizer, and it's the greatest thing that we could ever have. For me, unfortunately, yes, I didn't actually manage to get, but I feel that I got the best that I could get out of it. And I'm actually using the little things that I got out of education to actually come up with one of the smallest things that I have.
When you see your colleagues that have run businesses and they failed, what do you think leads to failure in business, especially among young people?
I think one thing is the issue that I actually spoke about is that each and every business, when it's set up, definitely it's in its infancy, So it doesn't have the strong bones for it to stand firm. But when we look at it, we look at the numbers that it's doing, that's another story. But we need to make sure that business now can survive even if at a time when I'm not around. That's the particular type of journey that we should take as entrepreneurs. We shouldn't just do a business when a person dies and the business dies, meaning that it never had any strongholds. It never had people that could run it, Just like where we are, we're coming from an informal sector, from the streets, setting up a business, but again, looking forward to make it go into the formal way. We were doing some sort of a restructuring of a business, bringing in people that are professionals, people that understand exactly what it takes for a business to go in this road, people that understand the policies around the legislations around businesses and things like that. I don't want to speak like I'm a professional.
Most. So it's said that the business will only grow at the rate that the owner is growing. Yeah. So if this is the owner and this is the business. Yeah. The business is growing and the owner is still here. The business is growing and the owner is still here. That ultimately the business will fall. Definitely. How do you make sure that while the business is growing, you as the owner are also growing? Because look, if you don't grow as an owner, for example, the same guy that was, the broker on the streets, that's the same mentality you have. That's the same thinking you have. That's the same attitude you have. Meanwhile, the business has evolved from just that to manufacturing level.
I understand you fully. Yeah, I think what happens in that scenario is that one, as an entrepreneur, you have to continue learning. Don't detach yourself new things. Don't be closed up from learning new things. Yeah, I mean, the world today is a global community, and so it makes it more simple for us to research, understand what others are doing around the world. I mean, we're learning every day about new things, new technologies. How best can we? I mean, even just in marketing in itself, it's actually one of the best tools that one could use. So all these issues, it's about you learning, you not being closed up to new ways of doing things. Looking at your business and how 5 years from now, what do I want this business to be? How is it going to compete on the market? How is it going to survive in case of such situations would come? Our business came at a time when COVID was also actually coming through. But I mean, we survived all those situations. Today, we're seated here, we're talking about how bad the kwacha is. But again, we're surviving all these situations. But so we are
How are you surviving the kwacha?
So surviving the kwacha, I think right now, most businesses are not doing so good in the country, so to say. I think everyone is just watching what's happening, they're keeping cool, but understanding inside themselves that things are not okay. I mean, so like I mentioned to you, we are importing, and the kwacha against the rand is really in a bad shape right now. But so, like in every purchase that we make for 500,000, we're losing more than 100,000 plus. So that's very, very negative impact on our businesses. But I mean, this is our life, and this is what we know best. We can't stay away because the kwacha is depreciating. We need to continue living on, continue surviving, finding ways and how best we could make that opportunity that is there for us to see the kwachas getting down but still remain standing.
Okay, how many people do you employ in your business?
We currently have about 15 people, but obviously with the factory, we're looking forward for more. Yeah, I remember a week ago we had a visit from somebody under the State House to just come and see what we're doing, and they were amazed with how the facility is being brought up. Quite amazing, and their interest was what we are interested only into is if you guys gonna employ, and if you guys are Zambians, yeah, definitely we're 100% Zambians, and this is the 100% Zambian owned company, and definitely for growth like this, we too need a lot of Zambians.
For a company like yours that's competing with other companies that obviously foreign owned, there is this thing people have that Zambian companies not good enough. You get a substandard service, the product will be what. Have you suffered from that? People judging you before they even deal with you?
It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle to actually be where we are today. For as long as we're Zambian, that issue is going to be there. We still have even friends that know me, friends that understand that I sell good quality products, but they still don't believe that they can still have. But I mean, people would go and buy from a foreign entity, leaving me out. That's a norm situation that we've had as people in businesses, as Zambians, and sadly it's there. So it's about continuously convincing the world and people in your country that no, what we're doing is different, what you've seen is different, and we are ready to do. So what we're trying to do, especially with our incoming manufacturing, or part of our business, is that we're not looking at the substandard type of quality. Because just like I mentioned, we're trying to compete with the bigger guys. Yeah, so we're trying to make sure that we could get the best product out there. Where, the paint business, what I've noticed, we currently have a lot of paint manufacturing companies that are coming up. Yeah, but the competition is actually on the lower end.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the high end, you find that there are about maybe less than 5 companies on the high end. And that's where we're seated.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you are to look back at your life and your business, what would you say you would have loved to have done differently?
I think for me, I would have loved to start this journey earlier than I thought I would, like earlier than I did. Yeah, it is a stressful, overwhelming, but a good journey. Yeah, I think it brings a lot of people close to you to, get inspired. It changes other people's perception about things, If you could be a person that is looked upon as somebody who could change somebody's mindset, and become better than the way they were, I mean, that's a blessing in itself. So I feel if I had to do something different, I would have started way back than I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we come to an end, what 5 things would you give to young entrepreneurs, those that are starting out or those that are already in business? What 5 things would you say to them for them to scale and grow to maybe reach a level you have or even surpass you?
Yeah, so I think before I could get to those 5, I'd love to state one thing that I feel it disadvantaged me. Just like the question you asked me earlier, what thing would have done differently? I think I would have started early. So what I did is that I used to drink, but I found something different about beer. Beer would distort you from the actual thinking of actualizing your dreams and goals. So you're stagnant in that space, especially for people. For me, mostly, the most important asset, like I said, is my mind. So imagine if I could feed my mind with intoxication. So, I wouldn't survive days, with programs that I would need to achieve, all those plans and things like that. So we're seeing a generation today. I would encourage young guys not to stop socializing. They would go to these different places and that. But if you put your mind to having fun and getting high, there's a bigger part of you that needs greatness. And if you get high all the time, I think that's not going to, you're not going to get what you always want to be. And at the end of the day, you're going to be frustrated because you couldn't get to that part, So the first thing faced, is that young guys that are starting up, they need to believe in themselves very much than anybody. Nobody has to tell you to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself very much that anything that would come wouldn't actually derive you from your thoughts. I had friends a lot actually in my life. So I had to cut number of friends so that I could just depend on my mind and look at the positives that are coming out of and actually challenge myself to do those things. You don't need to have a crowd because your crowd will disturb how your mind thinks and how you look at things, you perceive things, because you might have a chance to say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. But you're telling it to the people that are different type of thinkers, they'll know that, this and that, this and that, and it will derive the actual thinking that you had and looking at how that positive thing was and now to something that is like, okay, it's not good or it's good, I can do it or I can't do it. But you need that positive mindset. So you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your thoughts. You need to continuously move with what you thought in the first place was right and not move away from it. Don't stop trying. Be consistent. You have to believe in yourself. Be consistent. Consistency from me, I could have channeled myself into so many other businesses that I would have loved to do. I still have questions from different people that come to me and ask me, why paint? You understand? But because I believe in it, I believe in the business, I believe in the passion that I have for it. I know so many people, it's difficult to see that passion that one has, but you can feel it. And when you feel it, you can do it. That's who you are, because maybe you don't even understand the feeling of that passion actually is a blessing for you to achieve it. So if it feels so great, do it. It's something that you were meant to be.
All right. Thank you very much. So you quit alcohol. You don't drink anymore.
I don't drink anymore.
How many years has it been?
It's been 10 years now.
Well, you quit 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Oh, I thought you quit and became successful.
I don't know. No, I don't believe beer is really a wrong thing for people. I believe for me it was a wrong thing for me because it wasn't actually giving me what I wanted to get out of it. So if you feel that beer is not actually doing what you need to, to do as a person, stay away from it. There's a saying that don't do anything that will negatively affect your life. So I felt it did that way.
Emmanuel, thank you very much for your time. I feel like this was a worthwhile conversation.
Thank you so much.
I'm very happy that we had this interaction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again for the vote.
Congratulations for those awards.
Thank you.
That's a true inspiration. For the young guys that are out there seeing this, that it's possible to have it.
No, it is possible. I feel like we really put out good content ever since the podcast started.
Oh yeah.
We have resisted the temptation, I think, to chase clout.
Okay.
Where we just ask funny questions so that we can trend.
Oh yeah.
But really, it's been about having conversations like this, giving people a chance to grow. So thank you very much for coming.
No, thank you
and
so
thank
much
you for those
having
that voted. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast.
Thank you.